Hello Internet, and welcome to this quick video on A Christmas Carol, specifically key quotations surrounding the character of Ebenezer Scrooge. Let's start by taking a look at this quote here. External heat and cold had little influence on Scrooge. No warmth could warm, no wintry weather chill him. No wind that blew was bitterer than he. No falling snow was more intent upon its purpose. No pelting rain less open to entreaty. The narrator reveals that when readers first meet Ebenezer Scrooge, he lives an entirely self-contained life. Not even the cold weather affects him, because, metaphorically, he has a cold heart. Scrooge made the decision, over a lifetime, not to allow external forces to influence his feelings or behaviour. If atmospheric conditions don't alter him, mere people certainly won't influence him. His coldness rebuffs people, which suits him fine. Our next quote here is, I wish to be left alone and can't afford to make idle people merry. Scrooge explains that he has no desire to help others celebrate Christmas when he doesn't observe the holiday himself. His insistence that he can't afford to make others happy points up to his misplaced priorities. He also believes that the poor have no one to blame but themselves for their poverty. Scrooge's belief that prisons and workhouses will solve the poor's problems was a common idea in British society at the time. We see that he believes this as he says, are there no prisons? Are there no workhouses? Our next quote here is, acted like a man out of his wits. The narrator explains how Scrooge reacts to reliving the Fezziwig's Christmas party with the aid of the ghost of Christmas past. Mr. Fezziwig apprenticed Scrooge when he was young, being reminded of that happy experience, possibly long forgotten but now vividly and happily recalled, literally takes Scrooge back to the time before he became reclusive and heartless. The memory reminds him that Christmas once meant to him what it means for many, enjoying others' company. And our next quote here is, I have seen your nobler aspirations fall one by one. In another scene recalled from Christmas past, Scrooge's fiancée Belle explains why she must break up with him. Scrooge has changed since they fell in love. Belle understands that Scrooge desires wealth to protect himself from the poverty he once knew, but he cares only about money, no longer even about her. Not admiring the man he has become, she grants him the freedom to be alone with his one true love, money. Our next few sets of quotes are here, so we'll start off with, I learnt a lesson which is working now, let me profit by it. Scrooge greets the arrival of the second of the three ghosts, the ghost of Christmas present. Scrooge recognises that the ghost of Christmas past showed him some memories that have forced him to reflect upon his past, both the things that happened to him and the choices he made. Here, Scrooge asks the ghost of Christmas present to help him however he can, a change in attitude since his experience with the ghost of Christmas past. The change Scrooge needs to undergo has already begun. He has realised that his change will not only help those around him, but also himself. Next up we have, I have nothing to say against him. Scrooge's nephew Fred talks about his uncle to his wife and friends. Unlike the others, who have no patience for the grumpy old man, Fred pities him. He makes the case that Scrooge's stinginess harms Scrooge almost as much as anyone else. Scrooge could use his resources to make himself and others happy, but since he doesn't, he misses out on those joys. Fred's generosity of spirit stands in contrast to Scrooge's lack of humanity. Next up we have, hoped he saw his newborn resolution. The narrator describes the scene at the stock exchange, where Scrooge and the ghost of Christmas yet to come materialise. Scrooge looks for himself among the businessmen with whom he would normally be found doing business. When he doesn't see himself, he speculates that in the future he may have changed his way of life. Readers may note that Scrooge has already begun to think about changing for the better. Scrooge later realises that he is dead in the scenario the ghost shows him, and experiences terror. The reader following Scrooge's transformation anticipates something other than the fear of death, produces the true change in Scrooge's heart. And finally we have, I'm quite a baby, I'd rather be a baby. When Scrooge awakens from his experience with the ghosts, he does not know how much time has passed. Having learned the lessons they were sent to teach him, he now understands that everything he thought he knew is overrated. A baby, a new life who sees the world with fresh eyes, will make better decisions than someone burdened by practicalities. Scrooge feels like a baby in the sense that today marks the first day of his